My mother always told me, fate whispers only once. If you don't hear it, later it starts screaming. But when fate screamed right in my face, it was already too late. A wedding ring sparkled on my finger, cold fear pressed against my throat, and the house where I'd been brought as a bride was so silent. It felt like no one had laughed there in years. I was only 20-1. My husband was 30-8. And he was infertile. That's what my parents said. That's how they signed away my life. But a month after the wedding, I stood staring at a pregnancy test with 2 bright lines, unable to understand how a new life was growing inside me. I grew up near St. Petersburg, in a strict, almost military household. My father worked in a large company with Russian-Ukrainian projects. One day, everything collapsed, and to avoid serious trouble, he agreed to a deal, marry me off to the director of a partner holding, Artyom Sergeyevich. That's how I ended up in his luxurious but lifeless home in Moscow. A house where white marbles shone like ice, and every step echoed with emptiness. Artyom was tall, lean, with sharp gray eyes. He treated me politely but coldly, as if I were part of a contract, not a wife. We lived like neighbors. He slept in his room, I slept in mine, even at the same table. We rarely crossed paths. His only rule, spoken the first day, our marriage is a formality. You stay within your boundaries, I stay within mine. Just keep up appearances. It felt like a treaty between the foreign countries, Russia and Ukraine, bound by debt, fear, and hopelessness. Just like us. I met him on the night I decided to escape the house for at least an hour. I walked to the Moscow River embankment just to breathe. Cold wind slapped my face. I stared at the black water as if it held the answer. Don't look down like that. I heard a man's voice. The river has never comforted anyone. I turned around. A guy around 25 stood there. Tall, dark hair, a gentle smile, and eyes warm like the Ukrainian spring my grandmother used to describe. He introduced himself. I'm Kirill. We started talking. He was Ukrainian, moved to Russia a few years ago, worked as a programmer, lived nearby. With him, I felt alive again, like the girl I used to be before the deal, before the fear, before Artyom's icy stares. Why are you sad? He asked, but I didn't say a word about the marriage. I couldn't. I didn't want to break the lightness growing between us. We met again and again. He brought coffee, told stories about his family and childhood by the sea. And for the first time in a long while, I laughed. Laughter felt like betrayal, but I couldn't stop. The first time our hands touched, something snapped inside me. I shouldn't have. I knew that. But people backed into corners fall in love easily, too quickly, because suddenly they can breathe. With Kirill, I could breathe. We started meeting in secret, late evenings when Artyom was at negotiations. Kirill held me gently, like he was afraid to hurt me, and whispered, "One day you'll be free." I believe it. I wanted to believe too, and one warm, quiet, fateful night, I stopped resisting. A month later, the bright pink lines appeared. My hands trembled. The bathroom wall seemed to close in on me. Sitting on the cold floor, I whispered, "Not this, please." I knew everything. It couldn't be Artyom's. He was infertile. My parents knew. Doctors knew. He himself told me. So, Kirill. Joy, fear, guilt, love, all of it hit at once. Artyom noticed I was acting strange, but he didn't bother to ask. We lived in separate worlds, but separate worlds eventually collide. At dinner one evening, surrounded by his colleagues, I suddenly threw up. Silence slammed the room. Artyom lifted his eyes, cold, too attentive. "You're pregnant?" he asked. I couldn't lie. I stood there in silence. He got up, his face drained of color. Later that night, after everyone left, he came to me in the living room and said quietly, "I warned you. There is no place for dirty secrets in our marriage. This isn't dirty." I whispered, "It's love." His laugh sounded like breaking ice. "Here's what will happen. You'll tell everyone the child is mine. But you, I know I'm infertile. They don't, and they must not. I won't lie," I said, feeling a weak but desperate flame inside me. Then he said the sentence that shattered me. "You will. Why? Because your father would have gone to prison without my help. Because your family owes me. And because you signed the deal when you became my wife." The wall squeezed me again. This time forever. I ran away that night. To Kirill. He opened the door half asleep, but the moment he saw my face, he understood something terrible had happened. I showed him the test. He went silent for a long time, then knelt down and touched my stomach. "Our child." His voice trembled. I cried. From fear, from love, from knowing this small life could ignite a war. Kirill whispered, I'll take you anywhere. Belarus, Georgia, Europe. Just say the word. But they were already coming for us. Artyom didn't wait. His guard stood at Kirill's door. He walked in like he owned the place. You took what belongs to me. Artyom said, She's not a thing. Kirill replied, stepping in front of me. Artyom smiled. An icy smile. The child stays with me. He's not yours. I said, That's the problem. Tell me, who will the world believe? A wealthy director's wife or a Ukrainian guy who suddenly wants to play family? He said Ukrainian with cold disgust. It enraged Kirill more than anything. But Artyom wasn't stupid. He was a strategist. If you go with him, he told me, your father goes to prison. The second half of the debt returns. You know what contracts he signed behind my back. He looked straight into my eyes. You'll ruin your family, and the child too if you get caught in the fallout. I trembled. Kirill held my hand, but I felt him realize we were cornered. I did the unthinkable. I said, I'll come back, but only if he leaves. No bruises, no consequences. Kirill looked at me like the world collapsed. But he understood. He couldn't fight that machine. When they took him away, something inside me cracked. Artyom didn't touch me, didn't talk unnecessarily. He just kept me close like a trophy hiding a dangerous secret. My belly grew. I called the baby my little light. He was the only warmth in that cold marble house. At night, I reread Kirill's last message. I'll be near, always. If you can, find me. If you can't, just live. Save our child. I cried quietly so no one would hear. At 7 months, I received a letter, not digital, paper. Inside were 3 lines. I found a way. You only need the will. Your documents are ready. No signature. But I knew. Attached was a small note from a woman working with displaced families. We'll wait for you tomorrow at 19 o'clock. The choice is yours. I sat there on the silk bedspread holding the letter, realizing this was a chance, maybe the only one. At that moment the baby kicked, hard. As if he said, Run. I put on my coat, hid the letter in the pocket. Called Artyom. I'm going to the doctor. He suspected nothing. He stopped caring long ago. On the way, I asked the driver to stop at a pharmacy. I slipped out through the back exit into a courtyard and came out the other side, where the woman from the letter waited. My heart felt like it would burst. But step by step, I walked, for the first time, toward freedom. We drove far. Moscow disappeared behind us. They brought me to a small country house. There, by the fireplace, stood Kirill. When he saw my belly, his eyes filled with tears. He walked toward me slowly, as if afraid I'd vanish. You chose freedom. You chose us. I covered my face with my hands and felt real warmth for the first time in months. A week later, we crossed the border through a humanitarian corridor. Documents, status, route, everything was arranged. We left behind debts, deals, cold houses. We went where people lived, not played roles. The childbirth was long, but Kirill held my hand the entire time. When our baby cried for the first time, I burst into tears. Our son, our light, Kirill whispered. He's free, and so are you. A year later, Artyom wrote to me, one sentence, take care of him. He's not to blame. And for the first time, I thought even ice might melt someday. Not for me, but maybe inside him. We stood near a new river, neither Russian nor Ukrainian, just ours. I held our son. Kirill wrapped his arm around me. The wind was warm, and I knew. I finally heard fate's whisper. And this time, I answered.